Flom here, and I am having the best time playing with the new Tim Holtz teacup die set. There's 4 pieces to it. There are 2 different teacups. One's a little rounder than the other, and there's the saucer, and there's also the little tea bag little tab. And what I am doing today, I want to make my daughter an Ever After High inspired party invitation, and such a thing does not exist so far as I have found, so I'm building my own. And what I did first was I took a card actually, and I first figured out that I wanted 3 teacups. I wanted to have them stacked. These ones are just ones that I had been playing with, experimenting with, and I'm just using them just as placeholders. And what I decided I liked is I liked the idea of the front of the card being smaller and being cut out. I started putting some info here just to see if I thought it would fit well, and I do. And this line I just put more just to show myself where it would be. And then I said, okay, well maybe I want to cut off a little bit of it to make it actually a smaller sized card. So this is my rough prototype. When I'm working with this many pieces, this many elements, for me, it works good to kind of, and this is something I'm going to make, I don't know, 12 or 15 of, quite a few. So I want to have it right, okay? I want to know that I've got the pieces the way I want them and see what I like, what I dislike, that kind of stuff. So with this done, now what I can do is just hold this, and actually I could pull these off even so that they're not floating around. Set this onto other cards and draw and cut out so that I know exactly where my lines are going, and I can cut along the folded line of this card. So I know exactly how this is going to fit together. So that's part 1. And I want to stamp the background. I don't want it to be plain white. So I've got here my Tim Holtz stamp here. I love this stamp with all the little words and such. And I'm going to use Stays On ink because I'm also going to be watercoloring here. So I definitely want, archival ink is really good. Stays On ink, whatever you have, some kind of permanent ink. I usually use archival, but I don't know where I have my archival ink pad right now. And I'm going to press hard, and I'm actually like standing way up and doing the stamping CPR move here because I found in my tests, and let me start to lift up and see how I did. Ah, yes, much better. In my tests, I found that this area along here did not want to stamp as easily. So I'm just going to re-ink. I'm not going to worry about the top, but I am going to re-ink and come along the side here and add some more there. And as I said before, some of that is going to get cut off, but we're not going to worry about it for right now. I will hit this with a heat tool here. Okay. And the next step is I'm going to add on my parts. So I'm going to be using this Ranger paint dabber in this beautiful vibrant blue. I just decided I really wanted another bluish element for my base, and this beautiful paint, this is a new paint from them, works really well. And I also have for my teacups, this is Dina Wakley Blackberry Violet, my favorite purple, and I've got this teacup here. For my blue teacup, what I did for this one, I had some Sky Dina Wakley paint and also some Cracked Pistachio Distress paint. And I just had a big piece of white cardstock and I painted them both on it. And then I die cut this teacup out of it. The same with the purple. I painted a whole big piece of white cardstock and then die cut the teacups out of it. For my third teacup, I used this Pink Gumball Ranger Paint Dabber, and that one goes this way, okay? So we've got our teacups, and they're dry. It doesn't take very long for a nice thin acrylic paint to dry, but the next step is I want to decorate them. So white paint would work really good. I have a Simon Says Stamp white ink pad that will work really great. On this purple cup, I want to make it polka dotty. On the blue cup, I'm going to use, let's see, there it is. I'm going to use this, and then if you have gold paint or a gold ink pad. Here's a pigment gold ink pad that I have that's getting very abused. It's very old and abused here, but it should do the trick for what I want to do, which is just to stamp on a little flourish, a little golden flourish on that one. And then the pink one, I like the pink one the best. I have Ranger dye ink pad in Wild Orchid. Beautiful color. And I have this, these were both, actually all three of these stamps are Tim Holtz stamps. And I'm going to take this beautiful, beautiful thing and I am going to position it just so and stamp. Ah, I love it. I love it so much. It's so pretty. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat, now once I get this one done, I would repeat these steps on all of my teacups. So I would get all the blue ones out, stamp all the gold, get the purple ones out, stamp all the dots. But you don't need to see me do all of them. You can just see me do a couple. So the next step is on this. Now, I could use some distress ink or, and actually, should I show you how to do that? I will. Okay, let me show you how to do that. What we want to do then is we want to take something nice and plastic, and you can probably tell I'm looking around here for something that fits the bill, and I think I've got it. Okay. I need plastic because I need what I'm going to use. I need it to not absorb the color. And then I'm going to use, I'm just reaching over here to look through my, I'm going to use picked raspberry. Yeah, that, actually, no. I'm going to use peacock feathers. Okay, and I'm going to rub a little of that peacock feathers right there on the plastic, and you can see that there. And then I'm going to get a paintbrush here. Just make sure it's nice and clean. I'm just going to swipe into it and then flick. Little watercolor droplets. There we go. Easy as that. See, so if you don't have watercolor, and the other thing I could do, of course, is to swipe this along here, which was actually my intent to, not a ton of color, but just get a little bit of blue going on here so it's not quite so stark, so white. Get a little more there. And then I could come in here with, say, picked raspberries. That'd be a good contrast. And again, I need a little bit of water on there just to make it a little more fluid. And do my watercolor flicking. So if I didn't have watercolor, this would be a great substitution. Use the distress. I use distress for so many things, and this is one of my favorites. Okay, and then this just needs to dry off. And again, I could do this, since this is going to be a lot of cards going on, I can do this assembly style. You know, I can get this going and do a bunch of them. For now, though, the one will do fine, especially since I want to make sure that it works out, that it's, you know, going to be what I want. I love how the distress reacts. Oh, just love it. Okay. So assembly is our next step. And I will start at the bottom. And you know what? Whatever you've got, tape or whatever it is, if you'd prefer a dry or a liquid adhesive, I don't think it'll really matter. I think you'll be okay either way. You're just going to want to make sure that you get those teacups facing the correct direction. And I love that these teacup dies have the little slit in them, so we can just tuck the teacups in, and I can just angle them so that they fit the way I originally intended. And on we go. Oh, I just love these teacups. They're so much fun. I see so many projects coming with them in my future because they're just really fun. Oh, okay. And then the one more thing that I'm going to show you is that I'm going to take, it could be any kind of string or twine or whatever that you happen to have, but I'll just take a little bit of string, and at the one end I will fold it over, take one of my little tags, my little T tags here, and I'm going to write on this party time. Okay, I'm going to write in a black pen, that it is party time. And I'll probably put a little foam adhesive on here just to help it kind of pop. And set it here. Again, love these teacup dies. There's so many possibilities for these. I'm just barely scratching the surface. And get this guy in here so that I can play with that. Oh, I like that. Okay. And we're set. Now all I'm going to do is just trim off a bit of the top and sides. And yes, I could have used a smaller card size if I happen to have them. I just happen to have a ton of pre-made cards in this size, so it's easy for me. And then I just have to open it up, and I love how the watercolor stops, how the inside is all totally blank. And write in my party details, and I've got invitations. And you saw, and we made that card in not that much time, so it won't take me a ton of time to make more. If I wanted, I could use some black soot distress ink, or I could use a different color too, but I think I'm going to go with black for the contrast and come along these edges. Oh, yes, yes. Come along these edges and add just a little more, just direct ink here. Good old inky edges, and I can go all the way. Oh, I won't go all the way around the edges yet since I'm going to trim that off. But there we have it. We have our Ever After High inspired party invitation. Here I'll show you the packaging. This is one of the dolls came in this packaging that kind of inspired me with the direction that I would take for this. And there we go. And this is going to be a party invitation, but you could definitely use this for any kind of card that you wanted to make. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I'll see you next time.